to approve the minutes of the December 9th meeting of last year. Evelyn Wood, seconded by Supervisor Brock. All in favor?
Aye.
Carry on, Ms. Chairman.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and yes, we are partway through the year. What I'd like to get to, a couple of important things that need to be addressed, and I hope in the new format that everybody got the agenda and that it appears clear. I tried to lay it out. As you see,
I have another one here if he needs one.
Request to create a position. I've tried to explain this in the best way I can. We currently have a structure in the DMV that has 6 motor vehicle licenses. At the current time, we have a position that has just been vacated. It is due to a medical condition, and as a result of that vacancy, we felt it was appropriate at this time to consider if that position could actually be more valuable to us as a part-time position, which in doing so, we would have the flexibility to schedule that person at our most neediest time and meet the customer demand, which actually is we have a higher demand in the DMV in the summer months. A full-time position, of course, is stretched out over the year, and we do have periods during the year that in winter, at least days like Canada, that it is slow. We've tracked the transactions, when our highs are, when our lows are, and what prompts increased volume. There are exceptions, of course, over the fall, winter, early spring. They might occur around vacations or a high volume or a high snowfall or something like that, but there are days when they are quite low in transactions and their activity. So we felt that creating a part-time position that we would start this year in 2014 in June, working from a canvas of the list to see if any of those motor vehicle clerks that are on that list right now and eligible are interested in this 1,040-hour position. And that is underway, which is okay. We can do that right now, awaiting the decision of this body and how we go forward. I tried to lay it out. We all understand what a part-time position does. It is not a benefit position, and 1,040 would not put it in any category. As I understand it, from talking with civil service, human resources, clerk of the board, it does not put it in a category to for health benefits or things like that. Again, we would be scheduling it, the bulk of the time this summer, 30 to 35 a week, and then reduce that down and work it as we need to. It has no negative impact on the budget as it exists right now. In fact, what it will do is, lower our salary volume, because the current number 11 position, I believe, was $30,000 for the year. The employee was here for just 1 month before resignation, so only took 1 month of bill from us. That is the status on the motor vehicle license reg clerk, proposing that it go from the full-time to a part-time.
We have a motion by Ms. Wood. We have a second by Supervisor Beatty. Any discussion on the issue?
Yeah. Is there an upper limit on how long they can, if they work a full-time week, does civil service say after a certain point they become full-time, or?
This will be structured in accordance with the civil rules and regulations, so, the structure that we've, proposed appears to be, that 1,040, we have the flexibility.
Well, what I'm saying is if they work a full-time week, is it like a full-timer, does that then begin to work as,
I mean, if they work one
One
week
week.
40 and another week 15,
or even 2 weeks of 40 or 3 weeks
I
or,
don't believe that would, factor in there as, I don't believe that factor. They're being hired as, this
so as long as they use up the 1,040 or
40.
whatever it is, they stay part-time,
they work.
even if they work 40-hour weeks.
I believe that could happen because I think it does happen in the other one now with part-time.
Okay.
Where somebody might fill in for, in a smaller office for 40 hours and then maybe not work, another week,
Right.
To balance it off.
Okay,
In other words, our objective will be to go to the 40 and not exceed that.
right.
Supervisor Beatty.
Yeah, Pam, I think this is, makes a lot of sense to me. The fact that you have a flexible schedule and you're maximizing your employees during the peak hours. I mean, that's just a good, solid business, approach. And, I'd like to say on a personal level, I had great service about 2 or 3 weeks ago there, and I don't think they knew who I was, maybe, so, they got me in and out, and it was very efficient, but, getting back to the full-time to the part-time position, it just makes sense to me. Obviously, you're busiest in the summers, and that's when you wanna maximize your personnel, and in the slower times, you wanna decrease that. So, I'm all for this.
Supervisor Beatty and I did have an opportunity to meet with Pam a week or two ago to discuss this issue in detail before this meeting, after our December meeting, when Supervisor Beatty voted against the new chairs, and I can appreciate his perspective, where he's coming from. I think it was important that we meet ahead of time and to fully understand, the issues involved. So I think this goes to the very core of efficiencies, to trying to be as economical as possible with county taxpayer dollars, and and I thank Pam for her efforts in this endeavor. Did we vote on this yet? Can we call for a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next.
Yes, also, in this, position, request to create a position, we have in the DMV, a senior accountant position as responsible for the reconciliation of everything that we do each and every day. The person also reconciles the county clerk each day. This individual has been out since September. Now, once again, if you think back, what did we say about the fall? Things begin to slow. So when her medical condition came up, and it's been notified to the office for leave on a month-to-month basis, which when you're first starting out, I think we can all agree, you're not gonna jump to any major conclusions. The hope for is that individual is going to be back promptly, or relatively promptly. We have addressed and done this, the work of the senior account clerk, by shifting people around. We had the ability to do that because we were going into leaner, quieter times. We are headed back to the busy of the Memorial Day to Labor Day period. And the notifications that I have received from the individual month to month, and then this most recent notice that came, I think it was the 20th of this month, indicates she will not be back. She will not be back next month. She's not gonna be back when we thought she was gonna be, so now we're dealing with April. We can't take a chance on this one at this point in time. We had some personal conversations, and it, I don't know. But she still is protected, and her position is protected temporarily, it's called a temporary. There are no, benefits that come with it. It could be done in 2 months, it could be done in 3, or it could go the extension to when FMLA runs out, or the employee returns, whichever comes first in accordance with that whole process. I have never been through this full process like this, so, we are learning along the way, but I think the folks that are advising, are knowledgeable about this, we would be pleased, very pleased, if this employee, who has been a trusted, loyal employee since 2004, were to return, and I know in their heart she would like to. It is not our fault at this point in time that we can say that that's going to happen. Again, the person would be hired at a base salary. If an employee does earn more than that after 10 years, you'll see a differential there. So, that is our approach at this point in time, to conform with FMLA to cover the office as best we can.
Can we get a motion to Supervisor Beatty, seconded by Supervisor Wood?
Just a couple comments. So, just so I'm clear in my mind, Pam,
Okay.
we'll hire somebody at a temporary level. We have somebody out on FMLA, okay? And at this temporary position, obviously we're coming up to our peak season, which is our summertime and so forth. This person would stay in that position. If the individual decided to come back, who's on FMLA, then that temporary position would go away. Is that what you're
That
saying?
would be correct.
Okay, yeah, I think that's sound business. I'm for that.
And just one other point, when we're talking about position and activity and so on, the senior account clerk does not work the floor. Right now, what we're doing is taking somebody from the floor, a senior person, to go back and do that reconciliation. In other words, cancel off holiday, in terms of not working for and doing this at the same time. So it's a totally separate type of position and duty. If we're going to be able to pull off what we are intending to do in the restructuring of DMV, we're gonna need those other people back on the floor.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed.
Okay, thank you. And of course, in order to accommodate this, I'm gonna have to move on the part-time, I'm gonna have to move some funds out of that full-time, salary position, which is in your, 1410-110, and move that to, 130, which is part-time salaries, approximately 9,500, will take us through,
Good.
the end of the year.
Good. Supervisor Wood made the motion, seconded by Supervisor Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any, no discussion, I assume? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Pretty heavy decisions to make, and I appreciate your confidence in the office and the department. On another note, while we're here, I thought it might be good to draw attention to, DMV revenue. And as everyone knows, I'm sure, transactions that are carried out in the DMV generate 12.7% to the general fund. It comes into the county clerk, we deposit in 1255, and then, of course, it goes to the general fund on a monthly basis. And that money amounts to over $400,000 a year, so it is has a considerable impact. Everybody is very conscious these days that sometimes we struggle from month to month, and sometimes our revenues, wherever they're coming from, are lower. Many of the clerks are trying to see if maybe putting notices out and additional promotions will increase activity in the DMV, and make sure at least that we reach the levels that we hope to, and we project for the year. And so, as I noticed, some clerks are taking on and putting some flyers into, say, the tax bills or whatever. I have noticed that this is one I received, and I'll just pass a couple here. I guess we all receive them.
I've seen them, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So, you know, I thought we'd just have a very brief discussion, and just to, bring it to your attention that, is this someplace that we could, you know, make a mention, you know, perhaps on the backside where there's more room, you know, what, in other words, to the taxpayer, what can you do to help? One of the things you can do to help is do your DMV transactions here and keep that money local. So that's the kind of, thought that, and many clerks are going out. Some are being more flamboyant in, their advertising, you know, dressing up and so on. I think you probably know that I'm not terribly flamboyant, so I apologize for that, but it might be something that we might want to add. We're not gonna do a separate mailing, it certainly would be more, not so cost effective for our department. But, you know, I welcome your thoughts and maybe direction on including something in the tax, billing that we put out the next time around.
This is done with your approval, right? I mean, they don't just send it out,
This here,
right?
this was done by the Board of Supervisors, and I guess it was in my tax bill, my copy.
Oh, okay.
So it's the one I got in.
What, you were saying that things, is it your department that's mailing things out, or?
No, we don't. Yeah, we
Oh,
don't.
okay.
This probably, the property tax bill is probably the single most largest mailing that the county would do on a one-time basis to our taxpayers.
Right.
You know, so if there's a way to put something in to alert them, you know, like you get inserts. DMV puts things and says, go to the internet, which takes away money from us. But, you know, it's an insert, and we wouldn't have to necessarily do a separate one if it were the pleasure of the board, but, we could possibly use something like this that not only has the representatives on the back side, but perhaps a box that just says, hey, remember the DMV, 12.7 here, something like that.
Supervisor Wood?
I was just gonna suggest maybe that you talk to Martin about that. I know that when we were originally preparing to have these sent out, they're kind of regulated as to what you can and can't put in.
Okay.
And I think that Martin would probably know if we could put it in and what the content could and couldn't say. I think there's some kind of restrictions there, because when we were drafting it, we had to tweak it a few times ourselves. I was
Excellent,
gonna
thank you.
suggest talking to Martin.
Thank you, Supervisor Wood. Supervisor Beatty?
Yeah, Pam, I see the biggest challenges to the DMV being obviously online, okay, which is a convenience for the customer. On the other hand, it doesn't help us as much here up in the county with the revenue end of it. And I also see the fact that, with any business, and I treat the DMV like a business, service is the number one priority, because if we get a great reputation, that's conducive to more customers, and if we get a bad reputation, that's conducive to less customers. And I think you've done a good job of in my opinion, of getting very positive feedback from most people, concerning services of the DMV. But I do, so I think you're doing the right steps there, and I would agree with Supervisor Wood that, letting people know, you know, the big thing now is buying local, eating local, doing all those things. I think Warren County, getting the word out there to Warren County residents that by them using our DMV, it's conducive to the revenue coming back to them. I would be in support of some type of promotion or whatever, of getting that information out to the Warren County taxpayers that, hey, when you use ours, that money, that revenue, it comes into our general coffers here in the county. If you go to Washington County, it goes to Washington County coffers. So, yeah, I'm not sure what the legal aspect of that is, but I'd be in support of something like that.
Thank you for your comment.
Greg?
You just want something that will go in the DMV, you're not looking for a mailing or anything, right?
Not a separate one. What some of the clerks have been talking about is like with the tax bills, I think Supervisor Wood is absolutely correct. There are certain requirements there, and
Right.
I'll start with Martin and throw it out to him. do have things in the office that we hand people, or we're supposed to be handing people. We do have it on our inside, or on our website, 12.7 stays here. You know, this might be just another way, and the way would be to make it, if all right, certainly it's cost effective. We don't wanna incur, expenses on the part of the county for this, but reminders, do help, and I do appreciate, the fact that people are, responding to the service that we're trying to give, for sure.
Right.
It's the balancing act, but, how we use our personnel, we have a customer service, workshop coming up with, our human resource director, and we're planning that for late spring, or late April, early May, before we go ahead. Just reminders, there's always something more we can do, I think, so.
The only advice I give is, I used to work in retail, a zillion years ago, is you gotta walk in like you should walk in as like a customer and see, sometimes people make it too busy with too many things, trying to say the same message, but they end up, so you wanna make it simple so people are,
Simple, not so
so you're getting one message across.
Yeah,
So that would be my only,
Thank you for those comments too, I appreciate it.
sure.
Great, so you're gonna check with Martin, excuse me, and, great, okay, and we'll,
Him about it and see where we go. We'll probably bring it
wonderful.
back up to this committee.
Any more comments from committee members? We have a motion to adjourn. Supervisor Brock and Supervisor Wood, thank you very much.
Actually, let's stay here for a while longer.